Hi, everybody. I want to thank Mary Lou and Bill for putting on this nice event together. And I want to thank them also letting me participate. And my part of it is my family's devotion to Padre Pio, which has been there for years. His spiritual guidance has helped my entire family. A short story why I'm devoted my time, energy, and money to this project is unique in this country, and it's right here in mid-Michigan. This is all started by our bishop, who donated the 40-acre parcel that's in Livingston County. Padre Pio's campus is going to be a replica of the original monastery church in southern Italy. I was born in southern Italy and came here in 1956. I am a local businessman. I've owned a Spartan Toyota since 1984. And most of you haven't seen my face because I'm unique. I don't do my commercials. I let everybody else do. So I'm probably a fresh face for some of you. But my family came here and we've always been devoted Catholics. My parents, my father prayed to the Holy Mary every day. In fact, when he left home in the morning, we used to say to him when he was going to work, Madonna Compagna, meaning may Mary follow you. And my mother was devoted to Padre Pio. My father died young, and my mother was a widower for approximately 20 years. And when we found her dead, she had Padre Pio prayer cards in her hand. And since then, I've been devoted to him and prayed to him because I was close to my mother, as most Italian boys are. And I found it very unique or very strange that all of a sudden, I prayed to Padre Pio and he appears in Livingston County, 6 miles from my home, inside of a 10-mile radius of where my parents are buried. And to me, I said, I can't believe this. I went through some medical issues, still going through them, but I'm still here because I'm a cancer survivor. And I pray every day to Padre Pio to give me a little bit more time so I can evangelize and participate in this fabulous project. And the reason why I believe in it so much is that I have an area that I can go to and devote my prayer and my sanity to Padre Pio and to God. And it's outdoors. It's a beautiful location. And if anybody's gone there, they'll tell you, it is so peaceful. And I can tell you that it fits right into what Padre Pio said. And it fits for me every day I say this. And that is pray, hope, and don't worry. Thank you. I just want to also thank Tom Izzo. He's been a great friend. And when I asked him, he said, why ask? I'm there for you. He's a good human. And we're blessed to have him in our community. So let's support the Greens and go Michigan State.
My name is Jerry Palazzolo. I'm president and founder of Catholic Healthcare International, and I have a very special guest with me today, someone who probably needs no introduction from most of you all, certainly those who are fans of college basketball. Coach Tom Izzo, the head coach of Michigan State, and a very close friend of a very close friend and supporter of ours, Rosario Criscuolo. Tom, thank you for joining us and offering your support for the work that we're doing.
Well, I appreciate it, Jerry, and I appreciate it through a lot of reasons, meaning Rosario being on the top of my list since he's gone through some health issues right now and is going through a few, but been a guy I've known for over 30 years. He's been a big supporter of mine up here in East Lansing, and one that I think is, a very religious guy who I think believes and use prayer as a way to heal, because a couple of years ago, his prognosis was not very good. And not only is he still with us, but he is playing golf in Florida, coming to games up here, working at his business. It's been an incredible, almost miracle on what has happened with him. And I think a lot of that is through his efforts, and maybe some through your efforts and what you're trying to do for the rest of us, to be honest with you.
Well, thank you. And you talk about his progress. I don't know whether that's his Italian stubbornness or the intercession of Padre Pio and his favorite Santa Maria della Grazia, Our Lady of Grace. But Rosario found us, frankly, on his own accord. He lives 6 miles from the land that Bishop Boyer gave us that we're building our prayer campus, and actually sponsored a beautiful image of Santa Maria della Grazia on that campus. And that prayer foundation is the foundation upon which we're building everything we're doing. I mean, just a little bit of quick background. Padre Pio was this amazing miracle worker. He had the stigmata, the only priest in the history of the church to have the stigmata. He could read people's hearts, but the greatest work that he did on earth, he said, was the building of this hospital, the home for the relief of suffering. We have the blessing to be able to be the only entity in the world that's been given the permission to replicate this Vatican-owned hospital here in the United States, and we're going to do it in the Diocese of Lansing. The most important foundation to get that accomplished, though, is the foundation of prayer. And Padre Pio built 3,500 Padre Pio prayer groups, formally chartered around the world, before he ever broke ground to build this. We're doing the same thing. We have an international adoration program, we have prayer groups, and we have our prayer campus. And the crowning gem of our prayer campus is the Padre Pio Eucharistic Adoration Chapel, which will be a replica of the church that was in San Giovanni Rotondo, Italy, when he arrived in 1916. And it will have Eucharistic adoration also, and it will bring the real presence of Jesus Christ onto our campus, which is the sum and substance of our faith and the strength upon which the hospital, medical school, and all the other work that we're going to be doing is going to do. So what we're here to do is to encourage others to help us in this mission to raise $5 million to get this thing built as quickly as we possibly can. And we'd love your endorsement for the work that we're doing on that.
Well, as you know, Jerry, I've just gotten to know you, but I've known Rosario for a long time. And, he's been one of those guys that's been a giver. He's always been a giver. And he doesn't just give to things that he doesn't believe in. And the business mind, the friendship, it surprises me none that Rosario would, number one, be interested in something like this with his Italian background and everything. But number two, want to help himself and others. And I think that's, we say that there's great people play great in my profession, but elite people make other people great. And I think that's why, to me, Rosario's an elite person, because he's trying to help other people get through some of these times that are tough. And we all know there's a lot of tough times now, and raising money for something like this seems to be, as I get to know it more, and I'm not an expert at it yet, but it seems to be a labor of love that is going to benefit many, many people in the future.
Well, you hit it right on the nose. Padre Pio, one of his most famous sayings is, love is the first ingredient to the relief of suffering. And the name of his hospital, the Home for the Relief of Suffering, really says so much about what he meant for that to be, because he said to his staff, he said, when patients come in, they are the twice Jesus, the suffering and wretched Jesus when they come into us. And you are the hands of Jesus in caring for them. but that love conquers all, and love will allow us to be able to do what we're doing. So we need the help of the people who are listening to this, who will be a part of this. We need them to dig deep into their pockets, because we need this money to be available, the $5 million, to be able to build this as soon as possible, so that we can bring all of the prayer resources and the power of prayer to bringing in place to build the hospital and the medical school and all the other work that we're doing in this vision.
Well, like there's a lot of charities, as we all know, and but suffering is something we all go through. You know, we're not avoiding that. There's certain things in our lives we do get an opportunity to avoid. You know, some people live an entire life and never have cancer. Some people live an entire life and never really went through some trauma that most of us go through. But most people are going to go through some tough times sooner or later. And I think it's been well said. Love and spending time and spending money is all part of the same thing. You know, it's everybody can do it in a different way. But those of you out there that have the money to help get this thing rolling, and get, you know, I know Rose has put some into it. He's done what most people do. He doesn't just talk it; he's walked it. He's given, and I'm sure we'll keep on giving. And one thing I've found about any kind of situation like this, once you do give to something, you take ownership of it. And when you take ownership of it, it's an incredibly powerful aspect of what you're doing. And I think that for all the people out there that have the money to give and believe in what they're giving for, I too would ask you to help the cause.
Thank you, Tom. And one final point that you made there, taking the ownership, being a part of our family. Padre Pio said that anyone who becomes a part of his family is one of his spiritual children, and he will wait at the gates of heaven to make sure that we all make it in. So you, Tom, and all the people who are joining us now are spiritual children of Padre Pio, and we will not only work together here as the church militant on earth, but also the church victorious when we get to heaven. And that one last point, I've known of Coach Izzo for many, many years because I'm a college basketball fan here in St. Louis, and we don't have the tradition that he has. But my sons and I have admired Tom from afar because we see his leadership qualities, the person that he is, in the way that he coaches. And that's admirable. I didn't know how strong a Catholic he was until we got working on this sort of thing, but it doesn't surprise me at all, because you reflect yourself, you represent, you raise these young people, and you give an example to those of us out around the country that you can lead with grace, style, and integrity. And you do a great job. And thank God, God has blessed you to be able to get out now and have the forum to be able to spread those good talents and graces that he's given you. So thank you so much, Tom, for all you do in that regard, and now all you're doing for us. We really, really appreciate it. Well,
Jerry, taking care of yourself is very important in the world. But that is just such a small part. If everybody, we're kind of in a self-centered silo society right now, where everybody just worries about themselves. The advantage of being a coach is you have a team to worry about. You have players that have lost their fathers, their mothers. You have players that have gone through things. And what you find out is helping others is rewarding. Helping others is a feel good. And doing stuff for others is how I got to know Rosario, to be honest with you. He was a guy that he helped the program. He helped me personally. He's been a friend. When things weren't going good early, he helped me. Right now, he's going through a little bit of tough medical situations. And, I try to call him now and then. And I guess what we're trying to do here is raise money. And the suffering part of this, we better realize we're all going to go through some of it. And if we can do more to have more people help get more people through their suffering, we're going to be a better society and a better world. So hats off to you, your people. Let's give a small prayer when we get off this for Rose. He's going through some testing himself, and I love him. I appreciate him, and I appreciate him being involved in your work. Makes me not only a fan, but a believer, because I know what kind of guy he is.
Fantastic. That's the perfect note to end this on. Thank you, Tom. You're wonderful. We appreciate it. God bless you, and go Michigan State.
Thanks, Jerry. Good luck.
Take care. God bless.